Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DELCO Cross Country Podcast. With you as always, this is Kevin Key, bringing you this weekend's action in Delaware County Cross Country. Before we start, loving the comments, loving the 5-star reviews. Please make sure they still come. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment on Spotify. Answer our poll questions whenever I post a poll question, which is very randomly on Spotify. And I'm starting today with some breaking news. So while I'm going into this, while I'm about to break down the meets from the weekend, there is some breaking news coming out this week. Over the past few weeks, I talked about the importance of DELCO Championships, and I've talked about teams that aren't currently scheduled for DELCO Championships. That has apparently changed. It sounds like now, breaking news, that the girls of Haverford at least will be competing at DELCO Championships this weekend. More of that to come in our DELCO preview for the week, which will probably be out on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, with special guest Tom Kennedy coming in to sit down and talk everything DELCO cross country this week when it comes to DELCO Championships this upcoming weekend. I can't believe I'm saying that already. I'm going to start this week at the Foundation meet, breaking down different meets today. I'm breaking down Foundation, Souderton, Whippets Invitational, and a little bit of Cary, North Carolina, and the Adidas XC Challenge. This is likely going to be a shorter podcast, not because of performances, but because it was actually a very busy weekend in my own personal life. But I did want to bring this podcast to you because I guaranteed you 2 podcasts this week. This one and a DELCO preview coming up this week. So I'm starting with Foundation. In the single A girls race, DELCO Christian's freshman Addie Atkins pulled off a medal. She went 15th overall in that race. In that A race, great job by Addie. And now she's trying to prepare for that DELCO Championships. Her and the squad are now looking to step up. DELCO Christian is trying to make a splash at DELCO Championships. Addie Atkins definitely pulled off a great race this weekend in Hershey. In the AAA race, Haverford was your obvious overall DELCO team finisher. They finished 4th overall. The squad continues to look strong. They had a 20.52 average, which is a fantastic average on one of the hardest courses in the state of Pennsylvania. No Olivia Cieslak this week. Olivia is on college visits and checking out all different colleges in the area. Is one of the best runners in the nation at this point. I'm sure Olivia is looking at a lot of different schools. But another senior who I know was also on a college visit, Cameron McGeehan, was on a college visit a week ago during Pencrest. She finished 4th overall. From everything I've heard in this one, she looked phenomenal. She ran a 19.24, pulling off a medal in this race. Ryan Dankinus and Micah Haskins, they just missed out on a medal. They went 22nd and 24th. Excited to see what the core 4, which would include Olivia Cieslak, what happens when they actually will push each other to meet very soon. Seems like that might be coming up sooner rather than later. Then the question remains, with that 5th athlete, with that 5th person, if it was this weekend, it would have been Evelyn Iwad, who went 21.18, a phenomenal time for the girls of Haverford. Need to work on that 1 through 5 spread, about 3 minutes separating completely with all of them as we head into championship season. Can't believe I'm saying those words already at this point of the podcast. Another great race came out of Garnet Valley. Avery Lustgarden, she was 24th overall. Garnet Valley was 24th overall. Avery Lustgarden, however, was 17th in the AAA race. She pulled in another medal for DELCO, for Delaware County in a kind of a preview for state championships, in my opinion. Avery is definitely one to watch out for. She ran a strong 20 minutes and 15 seconds on a very tough course. She'll be looking to be in the mix at DELCO Championships next week. Rachel Hicks was their next runner. She went 22.12 on the tough Hershey courses I've already mentioned. Pencrest, they were 30th overall. They have a strong freshman duo of Cassidy Jones and Maddie Ruday. Cassidy Jones went 21.18. Maddie Ruday went 22.34. They might find a way into the rankings with a duo of Jones and Ruday. We'll see what happens as I get there. On the boys' end, it was single A DELCO Christians. Grant Moss, who was the top finisher for DELCO, he went 20.35. at 84th overall, with teammate Hugh Nicholson finishing 90th. In the AAA race, you had Teddy Foster from Haverford. He finished 11th overall to add to his medal collection. He won a strong 16:24 with, again, a nice strong finish. His teammate Sean Lawson, he was 29th overall at 17:10. Carlo Bianviri, he went 45th, and Logan Eagles Eagles went 59th, with Aiden Chevrolet rounding out with the team's 7th overall team finish at Foundation Meet. The boys of Garnet Valley, they were 27th overall. They were led by Alexander Gersahaney at 63rd. He went 17:51 in that race. Moving over to Souderton, and some of these people wanted to make the 21st of November, that 21st night of September, very special at the Souderton Twilight Series. As you could tell, it's getting a little late here. Like I said, a pretty long weekend, so I'm trying to get through this. Radnor's Emma Hyde. Continues her stellar season this week. She went 19:15. She finished 5th overall in the girls' varsity race. The girls of Strathaven, they put up another strong day. They were led by Sophie Jackson, who finished 11th at 20 minutes and 6 seconds, which is her best time since District 1 championships in 2022. Her teammate, Mara Carey, also put up her own race of her own. She went 20:24, which is another personal best. Another week in which Strathaven just looks to continue to get stronger. Noah Naya for the Ladies of Haven this weekend, which put Sam Spector as their number 3. She went 47th. Then they rounded out with senior Sage Baker at 54th and Natalie Mulhern at 62, rounding out their top 5 for a 5th place finish. The boys of Radnor, they put up a 4th place finish in this one. They were led by the 8th place overall finisher, Joseph Garzio. He dropped a huge PR of 16:13. His teammate Jack Wibble, he went 20th overall, running a PR of his own at 17:09. Aiden Landay, he went 26th, followed by Connor Walsh at 28th. Radnor closed out with Brennan Naud going 55th overall in a strong race for the boys of Radnor. At the Whippets Invitational, times were flying. From what I've heard, this course is very similar to the times you'll see at like a Paul Short in a couple of weeks, or District 1 championships. From what I'm told, it's a pretty fast course. Agnes Irwin, they continued their magical season. They won a 3rd place team finish. They're led by their trio of Sophia Case, who went 8th, Avery Brennan, who went 11th, and Emma Watson, who went 15th. All were flying time-wise, going sub 19:48, all running their personal best times. Margaret Dooley, she had a race of her own. She finished 29th in a PR of 2024, just off of Marple's Ali Pavone, who went 2010 in this one. Agnes Irwin is going to be relying heavily on their number 5 next weekend at DELCO Championships. That number 5 this weekend would have been Wynn Hastings, who went 22:35 on the Whippet course. Marple Newtown was 9th overall without Lizzie Getz and Allie Pavone. They only had Allie Pavone in this one. Allie ran her personal best time of 20 minutes and 10 seconds. Upper Darby's, they had Katie Golembuski. She ran a personal best performance at 21:22, showing the genes of the Golembuski family run strong. They just continue to build them. Ridley's Leah Starr, she was the next Delco athlete. She finished at 21:42. Marple's Brooke Davis was 61st overall, followed by Ridley's Brooke Schmidt at 63rd, and Upper Darby's Elisa Joseph at 65th. Upper Darby put up a pretty strong day overall. They were finished 11th, just behind Marple Newtown. It was a surprising day on the boys' end, as the underrated, not even on my rankings a week ago, Haverford School for Boys, they came out and they finished 6th overall. They were led by Alex Dardarian, who finished 8th as an individual at 16:21, just ahead of a returning Joey Lancey from Ridley. Lancey put on a nice return race. They should actually give him some relief in this one. He went 16:21 after a few weekends off, trying to get back into the swing of things. I think a lot of patience and perseverance is going to do well for a Joey Lancey. Paul Lua, he was only 2 runners off of Joe Lancey, and this one going 11th overall. As I stated prior, Haverford School for Boys, they pulled off a great race. They were led by Dardarian. James McCall was their second runner at 17:10. He finished 28th overall. Lucas Crutchlow, Liam French, Raymond Krieg, they all finished it off for the Haverford School for Boys. The next Delco finisher was Marple Newtown. Julian Bothma, he went 16:28 to finish 12th overall. His teammate Cole Wozniak, he finished 23rd. They closed out with Landon Hartwell, Jacob Figueroa, and Cole Broomall, yes, from Broomall. Some very strong performances came from individuals like Donnie Kay from Bonner and Prendy. He was 17th overall. Josh Sharp from Upper Darby, he was 22nd overall. And Josh Knox-Wagner from Bonner and Prendy, he was 25th overall. And I was reaching out to their coach over the weekend. They dropped some major PRs in this one, showing how fast that course is, but also huge confidence booster for them. Now down in North Carolina, Sophia Curtis, she was 12th overall in this one. Sorry, she was 6th overall in this one. She was one finishing with a medal at 19:19. The Springfield girls, from numbers 2 to 5, they had a 32-second spread among them. They closed out a fun trip in Cary, North Carolina. And on the boys' end, Chris Carty continues to impress. Mentioned that name a week ago. I'm mentioning it again now. Carty went 16:55 on the North Carolina course. Another name to add into the books at DELCO Championships. Now this is the part in which I know everybody's been waiting for. The DELCO rankings of the week. And I'm going to start on the girls' end this week because that's kind of what I was doing with all of the podcast so far. So on the girls' end, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Ridley and Upper Darby. Ridley still didn't put their top 5 on the course together. Excited to see what they do at DELCO Championships because, like I said, they could surprise people. Brooke Schmidt continuing to run well. I believe it was Brooke Schmidt continuing to run well. That's the name I think I mentioned earlier. Like I said, I apologize for being a little bit more tired today than I normally am after a long weekend. But their number 5 is right off of that Springfield number 5. Honorable mention, like I said, is going to Ridley. Another honorable mention going to Upper Darby. They ran well this weekend. Katie Golembuski, Alyssa Joseph, Sierra Brown. These are all athletes that are continuing to build up for a team in Upper Darby. They will not be at DELCO Championships next week as they will prepare for the Six Flags Invitational up in northern New Jersey. Number 10 this week. Hard not to put this team on here. Hard not to support their athletes like Avery Lustgarden, who ran so well at Foundation. Hard not to support someone like Rachel Hicks. It's that closing 3 to 5 that need to work together to put them over the top. At number 10 this week, I have Garnet Valley. At number 9 this week is a team that's kind of flying under the radar right now. They have freshmen Maddie Roudet and Cassie Jones bringing them some new life. Now, if they can only add like the front runner or continue to pack run, things could happen for the girls from Pencrest at number 9. At number 8 this week, might be getting a text message about this one later. Even though Lizzie Getz and Allie Pavone continue to impress, Getz and Pavone are not the only people that they need to rely on this one. This team is going to need to rely on the hands of numbers 3 through 5. If 3 through 5 can close the gap, surprising things could happen for the team from Marple Newtown. They did not have Getz this weekend, but it gave Pavone and her teammates a different way to step up and a different way to shine this weekend. I put Marple Newtown at 8 when, here we go, number 7, hear me out. I added the rankings together based off their top performances this year, and by doing so, this team would actually be ranked 5th in Delaware County, not where I have them at 7th. And that is the team from Strathaven. They have a good trio right now in Sophie Jackson and Mara Carey and Anaya Aga. There was no Anaya Aga this weekend for them. I do have them at 7th. At 6 right now, another team that is kind of flying under the radar, led by Emma Hyde, who stepped up big time at Souderton Invitational this weekend. These girls are flying under the radar and should be potentially ranked higher. That is the team from Radnor. Now this is where I'm also going to get yelled at again, probably a text message, but I have 4A, 4B in this one. All right, I have a tie. Sorry, did it last week on the boys. I'm going to do it this weekend on the girls. 4B, I have Springfield. Just a great race out of Sophie Curtis in North Carolina. They had that quick spread between numbers 2 and 5, which could end up coming in the clutch for them next week at DELCO Championships. 4A this week, I have Kendra Williamson led, Hannah Todd led, especially after a great week at Interact this week. They squeezed by Agnes Irwin at the Interact meet this past week. It was their 4 through 5 that really has to step up next week. Does that sound familiar? Episcopal Academy I have at 4A right now, and in reality they should probably be climbing those spots as well. Speaking about another Interact team that should be climbing the spots, at number 3 this week, they're a lot closer to that number 2 spot than we think. And honestly, they might actually should be there if Agnes Irwin did not do what they did at the Whippets Invitational this weekend. Notre Dame, they dominated the Interact meet this weekend. They put 3 ahead of Agnes Irwin's 3. Once again, it came down to their number 5. And Notre Dame, like I said, should be up there. They dominated Interact. They won the meet this past week. But if Agnes Irwin did not have the performance they did at Whippets, Notre Dame would be number 2 right now. At number 2, I do have the team from Agnes Irwin. Another strong weekend at the Whippets Invitational. Just tremendous. Out of their 3, they continue to work magic with their top 3 athletes. What they need to do is they need to overcome, and that 4 through 5 really does need to close out to potentially do something magical next week at DELCO Championships. And at number 1, clearly it is the team from Haverford. No Olivia Cieslak due to college visits. Cameron McGann continues to run strong. She got a medal at Foundation. Haverford continues to put up a good fight. And they're going to remain the number 1 team here unless someone proves me wrong next week at DELCO Championships. And that could potentially happen. And you'll see that in our DELCO preview later on this week. On the boys' end, my top 10 rankings. Honorable mention this week goes to the team from Springfield and Garnet Valley. 2 impressive performances this weekend. I just don't see you overtaking right now any of these top 10 teams. And this is going to cause some disruption overall, and I know it's going to cause some disruption. So here we go. It's time to rank the top 10 boys' teams right now. And I can't get this team out of my rankings right now. They have Donnie Cave, they have Josh Wagner. They took a step forward this weekend at Whippets, but it was also the rest of the team that stepped up. Bonner and Prendy I have at number 10, and they could do some damage. I don't know if it's going to be done at DELCOs, but they could do some damage at Catholic League Championships, at District 12 AA Championships. They could be out there and surprising some people. Do not be surprised to hear them later on this season. I kept Penwood at number 9. It was an off weekend for them. They're continuing to build up. Penwood is going to stay at number 9 right now. Number 8, again, team from Marple Newtown. They have Bothma and Wozniak who continue to run well, but depth is the question for Marple. Let's see if they can step up just a week away from DELCO Championships. And now number 7, impressive weekend at the Whippets Invitational. They were able to knock off both Marple Newtown and Bonner Prendy to earn this spot. Coming out of nowhere, a big surprise race out of the boys from the Haverford School for Boys at number 7. At number 6 this week, I've never been so confused in my life. Completely under the radar. They won the Cal meet over Springfield and Pencrest. Kind of looked like they were working out. However, they have a close 5 packed together, and that is the team from Strathaven sitting at number 6. Don't really see them at invitationals. That's why I'm so confused. I see them at Cal meets, and that's about it. But ranking-wise, right now they're sitting at number 6. At number 5, return of Joey Lancey is the reason why this team is here right now. That's going to bump them up here. If Lancey can stay patient, Ridley could surprise a bunch of people at DELCO Championships, especially with a dynamic duo of Jackson Keane, Joey Lancey, and now you have the other athletes stepping up big time. Seeing the same thing out of their girls right now. Ridley I have at number 5. At number 4, I have this team moving up 4 spots from a week ago. They had a tremendous meet at the Souderton Twilight Invitational to make sure you really remember the 21st night of September, and that is the team from Radnor And yes, I finally got the quote right after a long, exhausting weekend. That's the team from Renner. At number 3 this week, another team that ran strong at the Foundation Invitational. They have strong athletes up front, and everybody loves an underdog story. I mean, just think about, you all know what Jason Kelsey once said, underdogs are hungry dogs, and a team from Haverford are really the underdogs, and they're fighting. And once again, I don't know if they're running at DELCOs. I know the girls are. They could potentially still be running at Carlisle, but to me, they are an underdog, and they could put up a good fight once DELCO Championships roll around next week. At number 2, I'm sorry, because I'm going to hear it. I know I'm going to hear it. Dropping down to number 2 after tying at first. It's very hard to do this, but it's the Pencrest boys. Yes, it was an off weekend for them, weekend prior to DELCOs. Yes, they still have the fire, and only a few points are going to separate them with Episcopal. But right now in the rankings, within mile split under top times, and based off of what Episcopal did at their dual meet, gotta lean Episcopal in this one as your number 1 ranked team in Delaware County. It might not be fair to judge this ranking just on a league meet, but Episcopal dominated their Interact meet at Belmont Plateau and had aggressive performances throughout. They put 5 guys in the top 8 in an Interact meet, in a dual meet, which I know is hard. They were led by returning Eli Engelman, who went 16:24 in the hills of Belmont Plateau. They're a team that I'm saying right now, things bounce their way. It's gonna be a great race next week at DELCO Championships. That is all I have for this episode for you tonight. Just a quick hitter, quick recap of the week to come. DELCO Championships are officially this Saturday. I will be previewing that with Tom Kennedy this week. If you hate my rankings, please let me know. Email me at delcoxc@gmail.com. Send me a tweet or an X or whatever we call it now. Thanks, Elon Musk. That's DELCOXCPod. You can send me a direct message on Instagram or comment on this podcast on Instagram at DELCOXCPod. Like I said, give me a 5-star review. Leave a comment where you can leave comments. Good luck this week. League meets are clearly here, but the biggest thing that we are looking out for is DELCO Championships. We are only a few days away, a few nights away. Sleep tight, DELCO, and make sure you move.